Okay, so welcome to How to Not Need a Physio. And today I'm going to help you loosen off your lower back, so through your lumbar spine, round your sacroiliac joint, so the dimples in your lower back, and around your tailbone, around your sacrum and your coccyx. So either with a peanut again, or 2 tennis balls in a sock and tie it really tight to create this. The reason this is good is because it has a nice space in the middle between the balls, so that's where your spine can sit, and the 2 balls can get really nicely into the soft tissue either side of your spine. Obviously, if you've got any major injuries or complications going on, then you should get assessed by a physio or doctor, orthopedic doctor, as soon as you can. But hopefully this can help you in the meantime. So, if you take your peanut and you go onto your back, and it's much the same as what we did with your mid-back and neck, except we're just going into the lower bit. So, find the dimples of your spine, right at the bottom of your lumbar spine where it meets the sacrum, the tailbone. And you're just going to roll, so use your legs to kind of maneuver you back and forth like a rolling pin. Okay. And then once you get used to the pressure of the peanut in your lower back, then you can start to, and you might notice one side's more sore than the other. It's usually on your standing leg as opposed to your kicking leg, if you know what I mean by that. You don't have to be a footballer to know. And then hug one knee up towards you, and then let it go long, and then bring it back in and let it go down. Exactly the same with the other leg. Bring it up towards you, let it go long, bring it back in and lower it down. If you're feeling confident, bring both knees in and then hug them up towards you, and you can do like a little movement there to there, which should kind of just roll over the bottom of your lumbar spine and onto your sacrum, so you're right over that area between the two. Okay, and you can draw circles in the sky with your knees, so knees together, drawing circles one way, and make sure that you go back the other way. And the beauty of doing a video outside is that you can hear the bin men working hard beneath me and reversing up. So you're now going to take your knees apart and circle them one way and then the other way, and then just dropping them ever so slightly over to each side, so you're putting more pressure through one side of the peanut and then more pressure through the other. Lovely. And then back to the centre and feet to the floor. Right, we're going to go lower, so we're going to go right into the tops of the glutes, top of the sacrum, top of the tailbone, so right into the top where your buttock muscle meets your pelvis bone. Okay, so exactly the same. Hug one knee in, send it straight away, back in, return, go again, other side, and then both, and you can circle them one way, the other, and each way. And you should find some nice little painful spots in there, but nothing that kind of cuts off blood supply to your lower legs or anything like that, any numbness or tingling. Just a nice little bit of pressure that goes into your glutes, into your buttock muscle. and then back down. So we're going to roll it 1 revolution round, or half a revolution round of the peanut, sorry. So moving down again on your sacrum, so on your tailbone. So we're now just about level with coming in between your the top of your pelvis and where the outside of your hip is. So we're right in between that. So again, 1 knee up, straighten it out, bring it back, other knee up, straighten it out, back up, both knees up, and then circling round one way, circling round the other, and bringing it back, rolling it down. Okay, so we're now right into where your piriformis, you may have heard of this muscle, meets your tailbone. So it's one of your deep external rotators, and below that you've got more deep external rotators. We want to loosen all of those off. So we're just coming into where your sacrum meets kind of the mid part of your buttock, between your tailbone, the bottom of your tail, and your sacroiliac joint, where those dimples are. And we're going to do the same again. Perhaps smaller movements because you don't want the peanut flying out the bottom. And just staying kind of more central over the peanut to do the circles. Lovely. And last time through, and you might have to hold it with your hands to stop it shooting out the bottom. So we're right round the base of your tailbone as far as you can manage. So we're just going to send that foot away, send the other one away, and circle them through, and side to side. Okay, we'll come back to those, so you don't have to forget about them if you're feeling they're still a little bit tight. We're taking the peanut out, we're now bringing it up to the base of our spine again, so back to where your sacroiliac joint is. We're going to come and meet it again. 1 knee up, straighten it out, back to the centre. 1 knee up, straighten it out, back to the centre. Both knees up, circle through, one way, the other way, side to side, and you can do each individual knee if you're feeling that you need a little bit more at each level. Okay, and you might decide that there's a tightness on one side more than the other of your spine. Again, after we finish this video, you can work into that area a little bit deeper. So we're going to take it another half revolution up. So we're moving up 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay, so hugging your knee up. And I'm going to get you to bring both knees up if you can. And then straighten out one, bring it back, straighten out the other, bring it back, and circle it round. One way, then the other, and either side. Side to side. Ugh, that is horrible. See, even physios have problems. And then lower your feet down. And then roll it up again. I make myself laugh. Bring your right knee up, both knees up. Let your right leg go long. Bring it back. Left leg goes long. Bring it back. Circle your knees. Circle your knees the other way. And side to side. Loosening it off. And it feels quite nice, so you kind of want to stay here a bit longer. And then replace your feet and roll it up. So we're right at the base of your rib cage now. So we've kind of gone through about 3 rotations to get all of your lumbar spine in, of which there are 5, I do realise that. But it's just to try and get the paraspinals nice and loose either side of your spine. So coming up with your right leg first, lengthening it away, bringing it back in, left leg, back in, and circles, This is horrible. One way and then the other. It'll vary from person to person, so you might not find this as bad as other vertebral levels. That's fine, we're all unique. We've all got our own individual issues with tightnesses and weaknesses. And then bring your feet back down. Okay, so releasing the peanut, coming up into a sitting position. And we're going to go into some sitting circles and just rotating around one way. So we're trying to keep our pelvis down. So our sit bones are down on the mat, and then we're trying to tip our pubic bone forward. So we're not kind of sat back here and up here like this. If you find you're stuck like that, sit on a block or a cushion so that you're more upright, and then you can come into a more neutral spine. And then just rotate through. One way and the other. And then back to the center. Okay, so we're now going to try and work through our psoas. We've done that a little bit because your hip flexors join onto, or some of your hip flexors join onto your lumbar spine, onto your lumbar vertebrae. So we've actually done that a little bit already, but now we're going to go at them from the front. And because your psoas comes right the way up and joins right in the middle, joining through onto or around your diaphragm, so it has a fascial connection with your diaphragm. So that's why if you've got any problems going on through your hip flexors, or you're tight through your hip flexors, you can actually get really restrictive breathing from your diaphragm. So a good place to keep your psoas released is by working on taking nice deep breaths and really relaxing through your diaphragm in order to get the fascial connection to release off further down too. And vice versa. So you just want all of that fascia to be nice and free and mobile. Okay, so we're going to unstick it. So take your peanut or your tennis ball, so you can do one side followed by the other. And you're just going to go onto your tummy and find just that bit. If you can grip underneath your rib cage, we're going to find that little bit of fleshiness under your rib cage. And it's not very nice as soon as you lay onto the peanut. It's horrible anyway. So we're then going to take our right foot up towards us and release it out, and just do that a couple of times, and you might feel like just a gentle kind of glide of the muscle, or pressing it forward as you tension it onto the ball. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the left leg. Lots of goings on out here, hope you can hear me well. And all the way through, and I'm already feeling a little bit sick because obviously you've got loads of organs and your stomach quite high up in your abdomen there. You don't want to bruise it, by the way, so we're just, you can see how much pressure. I've got my elbows down, I've got my knees down, so I'm not really pressing through either. And then just moving down, so I've just moved, don't know if you can see, just down about an inch or so, and going through exactly the same process. So I'm pressing forward into extension through my thoracic and lumbar to just try and bring my hip flexors to the front there. And it's really about the fascial connection. So if anyone's saying, oh no, you can't touch your psoas from there, anyone that's had treatment with me will know that you can. And also, as I say, it's the fascial connection, it's how everything sits together to create tension around there. And then the other one. And believe me, a peanut is preferable to me doing treatment on you. Just working through. Okay, and I'm just gonna move it down about an inch, or you can roll yourself forward. I'd run out of room here. So moving your right leg up. And provided you're not getting any crazy nervy sensations, should be fine to carry on doing that. When I say nervy sensations, that's shooting pains going down or up from the side of the peanut. And just working through. And if you do, just ease off and see if they disappear. Doesn't mean you've damaged anything if you get one shooting pain. Okay, and again, whoop. You've probably just put pressure through something that's already tense. So it's created pressure on the nerve. But we're trying to avoid that. We're just trying to get that fascial connection to release. This feels horrible. There's nothing good about this except for the end result. And then the left side. And then we're right down into, now below the belly button into the abdomen. Right leg up. And if you're feeling particularly loose, or you are a circus performer or ballet dancer who has loads of range through their psoas but still remains tight, which is possible, you might want to just elevate your knee slightly. So that's fine to do. You can pop it on a block, and so it just exposes your psoas a little bit more. Mine are crazy tight, so no need for me. Okay, last little one. So we've got just a little bit more space, and I'm now right between my two pelvic bones, my ilium, the two sides of the pelvis, and I'm just going to work through there. This can be a little bit more painful because you've got your obliques, your iliopsoas, and your abdominals, as well as loads of organs underneath. So we're just loosening off through, but it can give you that kind of nauseous feeling. And that's fine as long as it passes after you stop. Last thing you want to do is go and bruise something underneath. So we're not out to bruise it, we're just out to move it and mobilize it. Okay, and if you want to add a little bit extra onto that, you can do. So what you can do is you can lie down and you can get your fingertips and pop them on the inside of your ilium, iliac crest, and you can press up as if you're pressing out into the side of your pelvis, and you can just start to bend your knee and straighten your knee, and that way you can really find your iliacus, which is part of your iliopsoas muscle, one of your hip flexors. So you should feel it working as you come into hip flexion there. Oh, it loves it. And you can just do a little bit of self-active release there, and come a little bit further in, follow that oblique line,
So in between where your obliques and your abs attach, you'll find your iliacus sat there quite nicely behind them. And try not to hold your breath. So as I said, it does have a fascial connection with your diaphragm, so you don't want to hold your breath. You want to keep that nice and dynamic. Okay, and let's do the other side, shall we? Just for good measure. Have I got space? Yes. So, just hugging that knee up. And one side might feel worse than the other. Again, that's normal. And these are really good exercises for you to do if you're stood at a desk all day, or if posturally you kind of sit in your hips quite a lot. And when I say sit in your hips, I don't mean side to side per se, I mean also kind of hanging into your hip flexors in a sway back posture. Google that. Okay, check out whether it's you. And then coming back into the centre. So you should feel nice and loose all the way through your lumbar spine, through your sacroiliac joints, and through your hip flexors. So it's a really nice kind of general lower quadrant release technique there. And go into your sitting circles, one way and the other way. And I mentioned before about loosening off your deep external rotators around your piriformis, which is one of them, and around your coccyx and your sacrum, so around your tailbone, into your buttock muscles. We can do that when we loosen off the hips, so look out for how not to need a physio for hips. Okay. Oh, nice and loose. Have a stretch out. Yeah, lovely. Oh, much longer through my lower back. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and come and join me for some more videos to help you loosen off your body and not need a physio.